it seems like the strategy is to try to just put enough pressure on the regime that some general or whoever, with enough juice there in Venezuela just turns to the other guys and says, look, we got to arrest this guy, like take him out of power or whatever it is, send him into exile. And then we got to reach out and just reset, hit the reset button with the Americans. This is not working. And so just to put pressure so that somebody from down below puts a bullet behind the guy's ear or just takes him out in another way. It seems like that's the strategy. It seems like also they've called our bluff on that. Like, and in the fact that over all of this time, not just this year, not just this administration, or even going back into the Chavez days, the fact that that has not happened yet should make us question, like, the generals are clear. Like I've heard, I don't know, again, how much, I don't have like a lot of the real hard detail on this, but from what I understand, the arrangement over there is basically that the military gets to control the oil industry. And so the generals have a stake in the current regime, like a real deep stake, if that's true. If that's the case, I mean, that's how you keep those guys on side. A $50 million bounty is not going to change their minds if the military is controlling the oil industry and their whole operation basically is dependent on keeping the guy who's there in power.
Yeah. Well, look, don't anybody forget that Donald Trump himself said, that his president Trump said 3-4 weeks ago, that Maduro offered everything. He offered everything. Total surrender. So for people who are young or were bad on this at the time, a story came out in like the fall, I'm going to guess September, October of 2003 in the New York Times by James Risen. So 6 months after the war started. It said, hey, by the way, Saddam offered to surrender unconditionally to Richard Pearl. He sent a businessman, an emissary or a diplomat to meet with Richard Pearl in London. Oh, great. So, of course, Pearl just buried it and didn't do anything with it. But he offered everything. But we only found that out 6 months later. Here, our current day W. Bush has announced Saddam has surrendered unconditionally. We're still going to go to war anyway. To me, like, no, that's it. You can't do that, man. You can't say the other guy already quit, but we're still going to attack him. You just can't. You can't. There's got to be a limit. There's got to be somewhere on this stuff, man. It just,
I mean, that makes you wonder, like, what the end game is, because I saw that too. He basically said, look, guarantee I'm not going to get shot or put into a supermax prison for the rest of my life, and I'll go into exile. Fine, like, whatever. I mean, and if that's the case and we turn that down, it makes you wonder what the end game is.
Well, and you know what? Maybe everything there was hyperbole, because I wasn't even thinking that necessarily included stepping down. But every other thing, as far as giving in to America's will on obviously resources, would be a huge one. But foreign investment and whatever other rules of the game, I mean, that's, it's like Yanukovych saying, fine, I'll fire my prime minister and you can just hire my whole new government for me and I'll just sit here and watch them work and do nothing, which wasn't good enough for them then either. Remember, they went ahead and overthrew him anyway.